Okay, we are live and good evening. Okay, Google, I think you were trying to something. Well, thank you, Google, for giving me, I think, a cool introduction. But ladies and gentlemen, Real Tennis Fans podcast is back again, number 4, and I think we've just lost one of our guests again. I'm telling you,
I can't take it.
We haven't even got anywhere yet, people, and we are up to madness and mayhem. Yeah, she's back, ladies and gentlemen. So, as you can hear the cackling in the back, we have I have many favorites. Last time I got called out for this. I have many favorite fans, but I have 2 of my returning guest fans. Andreen from Solely Tennis Travel, and Janina, who I guess is a wonderful mom as far as I know, and a very avid tennis fan. So they're going to be with me today for the duration of the podcast. Oh, I think we started. Okay, I'm going to be watching the clock. I don't want to have a 2-hour prayer and fast service for you people.
Amen.
We're going to try to get out in an hour and 15 minutes at the most, because we have a lot of things to talk about. So, I guess let's start with Indian Wells. I mean, let's just give it a little drum roll, because that is... And Andreen has disappeared again, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have a lot of technical difficulties.
God, I'm dying.
Janina, you need to get some water?
I might have to pee.
Just don't pee on the podcast itself. Okay?
Oh my God. Andreen, get it together.
We're not into water sports, she's gone again.
Do we get a do-over?
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the fun and rolls and punches, I guess.
I guess. All right, let's go. She'll be back.
Okay. She'll be back, though. I'm gonna invite her again. It's really integral that Andreen be here, because Andreen actually went to Indian Wells in California, so we are very much intrigued to hear what Andreen has to say. And Andreen is back with us again.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, please excuse the podcast technical difficulty. I'm a bitch on a budget, and I say that meaning I have no budget. So the technical facility that we have is due to my no budget. So forgive us. Andreen, can you tell us what it was like being at Indian Wells this year, 2015? I feel like we're on one of those newscasts where they're trying to speak to the man live on the scene, and the man isn't hearing, or he's busy doing something else, and not aware that we're looking for him.
I'm just here to laugh.
Okay. We're going to get to you. Well, Janina, while we wait for Andreen to get settled, I mean, and Verizon, we were about to give you a plug, just so you know, Verizon. Andreen switched over her phone to Verizon. We're about to give you a plug because she has 4 bars, and now you're just fucking up the system right about now. So, I don't know, Verizon. Just when you're about to get a word, be the word of the sponsor today. Just when I was about to give you free advertisement, I'm just going to have to give you a 1-star today, okay? I'm giving you 1 star because Andreen can be here just because she switched to Verizon, but you don't get the other 4 stars because she can't stay in the podcast. So, get your shit together, okay? We need Andreen here today. So, Janina, so you watched much of Indian Wells while we wait for Andreen. Can you tell us what you thought of the event on a whole, what did you think of it this year?
Well, of course, I was most excited to see Serena's first match and how the crowd was going to react when she came in. And I was pleasantly surprised, and I loved it. The best part was the tears from everybody. Her sister, Lindsay Davenport, she was a hot mess. Did you see her? Oh, my God.
I didn't see Lindsay crying, but I did see. I think her name is Aisha. Aisha.
The
That's the big.
sister.
Yes. Oh my God, her weave was on point. She got long Rapunzel weave. I mean, like she really put in an effort just to be here at Indian Love this year. So I gotta give her a little. I gotta give her a little toot for that. But yeah, I did see that she was in tears. Serena was in tears. I mean,
Oracene. Like, can we get her a new wig for real?
Look.
Oh my God. Seriously, it's so bad. It is so incredibly bad.
I'm
like,
you.
Serena, buy your mama some hair. You got money, girl.
I swear to God, Oracene is the understudy for the Wiz Cowardly Liar. And she just ready to be at a moment when they're about to be like, girl, the man dropped out. It's time for you to go on. She's ready. Oracene is ready to jump into the spot. Now, I'm going to give Mama Oracene a lot of slack right here. I mean, I'll be shading that wig. I'll be coming for that wig, yes. That wig could be better.
Could be.
I mean, let's just be real. It's a hot mess. But, I mean, you know what? It's the kind of wig where after a while you see, so you know, sometimes people just wear something really horrid, and after a while you just see it so often, you just like, oh, well, it just got a deal. I think by now we're just, you know, we can deal with the wig, you know. I mean, like, God awful, hope she doesn't come out in one that's pink. Then we're gonna have a problem. But, I put to the color, the shade, you know, the color does suit her, just not the shape. But you know what?
It just looks like it doesn't even belong to her. It's like she got it at the fucking local Goodwill. I can't. It is so bad. Every time I see it, I just go, why? Why?
Oh my God. Look, every time I see it, I just think in my head, the Wiz. I'm a mean old... I mean, I don't know if it's going to come true, but, I mean, I do have that song on my iTunes. I mean, hopefully, every single time I see Oracene, Mama Oracene with that wig, I just keep thinking, this is what pops into my head.
Oh, God. I like it. You have to tweet that to her. I think she might love it.
It's my favorite part. I swear to God, I'm telling you, Oracene is getting ready. She's the understudy for the Lion and the Wiz. I mean, folks, if you haven't seen the Wiz, I mean, Diana Ross is not made for the part. I'm telling you, that's just when you know you're the baddest bitch in town that you can try. You could be 30-something years old and trying to play a 14-year-old and look like a 30-something years old. But the Wiz is, the music is awesome. I think the musical on Broadway was way better than the movie, but the songs were absolutely awesome. But anyway, Oracene, Mama Oracene and her wig. But Serena, remember we had this conversation in podcast number 2 about Serena's return, and we spoke about what do we think was going to happen, and I said Serena is going to pull out. And sure enough, Serena pulled out in the semifinals. What did you think of that? And mind you, people still booed. There were a few people who booed when she came out and said,
yeah,
I can't play. No,
well, that always happens, I guess. Unless you're Roger Federer. I mean, it doesn't happen if you're Roger Federer. But
my point is that Indian Love crowd, you're on bad behavior. You want people's shit lit. You shit last and they're going to come back with the same bullshit. I mean, seriously, even if you were genuine and wanted to boo, sometimes you just have to let shit go. Sometimes you just can't be real. When keeping it real goes wrong. And this time around, I mean, like you didn't even have an issue because Last time around, you didn't even have a problem. You should have been booing the tournament director because Venus has maintained, and they have never said Venus is a liar, that she pulled out hours before. They just
Right.
chose to announce it several minutes beforehand. And
Right.
Serena had announced that she was pulling out, that she couldn't continue during the match that was going on with Yankovic and Savine Lasicki. And can we talk about, well, anyway, before we even get ahead of ourselves, yeah, so what did you think when she pulled out?
Well, honestly, rumor has it that before she got there, her knee was heavily wrapped and taped.
Right. We did see that. We did see
She
that. There
didn't,
were photos.
right. She didn't let anybody, uh, no cameras at practice. It was all very private. And given the fact that she pulled out, I think that's probably why. She probably never should have played Indian Wells to begin with. I think she was trying to bullshit everybody by saying it happened a couple days ago in practice. My ass. She had that injury before she got there. She probably shouldn't have played, but there was way too much hype surrounding the big return that there was no way in hell she could pull out. So she had to play through the pain, and then it just got to be too much. That's what I think.
I think there is some fairness to that bit. I would say I would rightly agree. I think they had already created this mammoth size, arrival. Like I swear to God, every time I keep thinking that I could play another song. But have you seen Aladdin? you know, when
I love Aladdin.
when Williams coming, make way for Prince Ali. I swear it was just like make way
Yeah.
for Prince Serena. It was just
She
too
totally
big
should have
and too.
entered on an elephant.
I was surprised. I thought she didn't. I was actually expecting her to land a flight. A jet was gonna fly over, and she parachute down in to play Monica Nicolescu in the second round. I mean, that was what I expected was gonna happen, and it was gonna say, "Hey, bitches," and parachute for all the fuckers. And, you know. But I watched. I believe I watched all of her matches. Again, she was with the slow start. A lot of it was just bad footwork. I mean, I agree. She shouldn't have played. I mean, like, I didn't think she should have come to Indian Wells. And actually, I didn't. I'm not even a big fan in how she came to Indian Wells. Like I guess the narrative that she allowed to fester. And I still have issues because I haven't heard anyone mention Equal Justice Initiative at all throughout the entire tournament. No one
Not
uttered a
so
word.
much.
I didn't see a T-shirt anywhere. I didn't see a banner. I didn't even see one of those like those wrist bracelet whatever nonsense. And they make that shit for any and everybody. I didn't see one of those anywhere. I didn't see any of the commentators picking that up.
Right.
Because usually in a cause like that, I would have expected, that the tennis community, the people who should have been, right on board with that conversation. But it wasn't about that. They were talking about how mature Serena's maturity and how she has forgiven. See, that was my problem with this entire thing. I didn't like where I know that I didn't like where I knew the narrative was gonna go with this whole conversation. And to me, tennis didn't learn anything. They didn't do anything. They didn't change, and nothing really happened
Right.
that before
Well,
Serena was supposed to create. I thought that she should. And to be quite frank, I mean, maybe I am being too harsh on this. In some regards, I have a sort of a slightly less than favorable view of Serena now because I thought that she should have taken a better stand on this situation. She should have grabbed hold because she came to Indian Wells on her own terms. And to me, she should have handled that situation overall. And if she didn't know how to handle it, Equal Justice Initiative was very ready and willing to help her with that. But it seems as if she just wanted to mention that. I heard no talking or nothing. So it was extremely disappointing for me in that regard. But you were saying?
well, I don't know if it's her fault that it got handled wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't like the way the conversation was going as far as Serena has matured because that insinuates that she was immature for not playing there for the last 14 years, which is utter bullshit.
Hold on, let me give you a toot for that and a clap. Unfortunately, there isn't an amen sister button here because, but I was amen sister.
I
I mean,
mean,
I totally agree. I mean that is my view on this matter entirely. I didn't like that. Really bothered me tremendously. I hated that.
Yeah.
With a passion.
Her choices are her choices, and you need to respect them regardless of the way that they go. She plays or she doesn't play, but you don't get to decide that that was a mature situation or an immature situation or a reaction to a situation. And what bothered me more than anything was really, I'm going to take it there. It was all the white people talking about it, and I don't care what anybody says. If you are white, you cannot relate. You were born in a situation where you cannot relate to situations like that. You will never know what it feels like to be called a nigger and have that sting you. You can't understand. You can show empathy, you can, say I'm sorry that that happened to you, but you will never ever ever be able to truly understand what that feels like. So you don't get to talk about something like that and how a person reacts to a situation like that if you can't understand, and you can't. And that's who talked about it. It was all of the upper echelon of the white tennis community, because that's what it's made of.
Well, I agree with that in many regards, but what I thought was even more problematic was that they couldn't even empathize with the fact that this wasn't regular booing. Serena didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So for 2 days for this situation to continue, spill over from the semifinals, which happened on a Friday, to then happen on a Sunday. I think that if it happened the same way, the scheduling happens the same way that it does today. I mean, whether it's a 48 hours past or whether it was another 24 hours, it was ridiculous. I mean, like, and it's for a 17-year-old to be on court. Was she 17 or 19-year-old? And Andreen is back. Yes, Andreen. Let's give her a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. We don't know how long she'll be here. Let's give her that nonetheless. So, Andreen, we're talking about, Janina and I were just talking about Serena's return in some regards, like how it actually played out. We had spoken about, the pending return, now the actual return. And Janina just mentioned that she didn't think that much of tennis establishment, the white tennis establishment, were talking about it, but she didn't feel that they enough. Verizon, you are gonna get the first one to say. Verizon, this is not cute. This is not cute, Verizon. You are fucking up Andreen today. It's not okay. Well, let's go. I will invite her again. I can invite her.
She says she's not meant for these.
That's not cool. That is not okay. I love Andreen. Andreen. Hello? We just gotta give her like 5 minutes to let her talk and just say what she gotta say and then disappear. Hello, we can see you, Andreen. We just can't hear you when she's gone again.
Oh, goodness me.
Well, I mean, that is a fair point to make. I often think that when I listen to white commentators talk about the black experience in most arenas, they just don't seem to understand. They seem to think
that their fault.
But it's not even about that. But then it's not even about whose fault it is. They're trying to act as if, I think sometimes, the white power structure try to act as if racism is like a thing that can actually walk and talk on its own. It's like someone, like, they can disassociate themselves from racism. And if to understand that racism doesn't still exist and it festers and fumes within, it's very much a part of the society, and to not see it for what it is. And they imagine that racism only come before, like, in some white hood and in the form of Ku Klux Klan member. So if you're not a Klan member saying, I'm gonna burn those niggers or whatever, that they seem to think that alone is racism, and not that racism has populated itself into in many different forms, and it's very much part of these power structure that exists. But to me, it was just like, beside the point that they chose to, that some people, and I'm going to go ahead and say that I believe Richard Williams when he said that a few persons said it. Um, I'm
I
going
believe
to
it too.
I'm going to say that that the crowd reaction definitely made it hostile. It was there was nothing about it to make it seem that that somehow they were blowing anything out of proportion, even if they didn't say the word. I mean,
Right.
that was a very hostile environment, and it was all directed at one set of people, and they happened to be black, and everybody else for the most part was around was white. So then, even if no one didn't even need to say the word nigga, if we're gonna quote it exactly, for it to be
Right.
for it to appear hostile and racist. So I don't understand how they missed that point. How they keep getting confused on this issue. We can see you, Andreen, but you can't. I can't hear. Okay, let's see if we can try this one more. So Andreen is here, but she can't be seen. Or
I'm,
it wasn't Sprint then. Okay. um, we heard you
this is a
finding it.
hot mess.
I know. I swear to God, like you can see her, but she's just not present. This is real tennis. My fans, I'm trying to get this us connected. And Green has just know that she's done with Indian Wells anyway, my worst one in years. And you see, this is why I was so wanted to
I
hear from
wanted her to talk
because
about this because we did talk about it, and I wanted her to tell everybody. I mean, I'm not gonna, we'll wait.
I
She can
know,
talk about it sometime. I will
but
talk about this since we're talking about the whole race thing. Someone who I won't say who, it wasn't Andrew, someone else that I know was in Indian Wells, and as soon as they landed, said, "Oh my gosh, it's just a bunch of rich old white people." And it's a resort area. It is a white area, and it was interesting though that it maybe people's senses were heightened because of the whole Serena thing. I don't know, but I heard that several times, and I've never heard that from anybody before, ever. Of all the years that I've been following tennis, that's not been something that's been brought up about
well,
the.
I think in some regards, I think they have to take a look at it, and I think the incident from 2001 was was on everybody's mind, though it wasn't being said. I mean,
Right.
all the tennis commentators talk about Serena's return. They never mention really why Serena left to begin with. you know, they don't. They never seem to harp on that issue really.
Right.
And
Right.
I thought that was really, it was a moment, and maybe we're being a little bit too harsh. Maybe they just don't have the language for it. Maybe if it would just show their insensitivity,
Well,
but that too is a problem.
people
That
don't
if
know how to talk about it. They don't know how to talk about it
exactly,
appropriately, and that, you're right, is the problem. You know what I really wanted? I really, really wanted Serena to go in there, wipe everybody's ass on the court, and just spank them. I knew that first match was probably going to be rough, and it was, for many reasons, emotionally, and that crazy ass forehand, whatever you want to call it. Um, but I wanted her to go in there and win and never come back ever. That's really what I wanted.
well,
I
she pulled
wanted her
out.
to. I know, but she didn't win. I wanted her to win the tournament and be like, "Fuck all you bitches. I'm done. I ain't coming back." And it didn't get to happen.
Well, she mentioned that she's going to come back next year, and I think she has to anyway. But you see, my problem is that Serena is playing respectability politics right now for my liking too much. She's
Yeah.
trying to play this game where she's trying to emulate the fact that she is a champion because look how not just I'm not kicking girls' asses on the court. I am being this friendly, approachable person. But the thing about it, I don't think it matters because people like to hate people. There's always a love-hate relationship with the champion. There always going to be. I mean, and we can see that in the most extreme, crazy form with Steffi Graf and Monica Seles, where this man became so obsessed with Steffi Graf and wanted her to do so well that he decided to rush on court with his crazy fucking homicidal ass and stabbed Monica Seles on the
Right.
court. So, you know, and Monica Seles is a great champion. And I mean, like, what she was doing at the time um, was amazing. But, you know, not everyone is going to love you. And you just have to accept that you're never
Yeah.
going to be. There are people who just do not like Steffi Graf. And there are people who love Steffi Graf. And to win something, I mean, like, it's not, because I have a friend of mine, he's obsessed with Michael Chang. And Michael Chang just won one French Open, which I think, you know, he kind of stole it from Ivan Lendl. But hey, a win is a win is a win. But
Right.
I don't like that. She's this whole relate, because in her Vogue article of late, she spoke about the fact that, you know, oh, you know, like, you know, Martina and Chrissy and all those one chummy. That's not true. Martina, Navratilova, and Chris were absolutely awesome friends, and they did a whole documentary on this bit. The friendship kind of waned a little bit when they were very competitive and kept playing each other week in, week out. But they were
Mhm.
very good friends at the beginning of their relationship. And according to Chris Evert and Martina, from their own mouth, they're absolutely great friends right now. They call each other practically every day, every week, and they certainly see each other quite often um, on at tennis tournament. And maybe Martina should tell her good girlfriend she should shut the fuck up, because Chris Evert don't know what the fuck she's talking about half the time. That's for another podcast.
Hashtag
Maybe
shit Chrissy says.
you're right. You're right. You know, because I would not have my good girlfriend running around on TV talking a whole bunch of mess like that, and not pull my good Judy aside and be like, "Girl, the shit be coming out. You have to get me some toilet paper and clean that shit up. You are a mess on TV."
What
But
did
you
she
know, I
say?
mean, but still, she be
Didn't she
saying
say
some shit
something
like,
about who started this baseline rally whatever crap she was talking about the other day? She's crazy. I can't keep up.
I mean, you know, she is one of the reasons why I don't seek out American tennis streams. I don't. I don't want to hear her. I don't want to hear Mary Jo. I don't want to hear Pam. I certainly don't want to hear Mary Corello. I just avoid them. British,
Well,
the BBC and Friends, the British Eurosport, be getting a hot mess now. So there are times when I just plug in the Italian and the Spanish streams, because even Nadal, I don't even understand half of what they're saying, because they're always excited on every single point. It seems to me, in my mind.
right, right.
But
I like to listen to them because they are crazy and it's entertaining. I don't necessarily agree with what they say, but they make me laugh.
and I guess it's gonna deal with something that I have a problem with. One of the reasons why I started RealzTenisFanz to begin with, because I get upset because they're lying, and I mean, there's not a they tell a lot of lies for no reason. I mean, like, you're watching the same match they're watching, and then they're talking about like how awesome this person is and like awesome, and it's just like, did we just watch the same match? Did we not just watch this girl and this guy is touring out here? Like, they're never fair and honest. And I get they're human beings, okay? And I guess you have to, you know, who pays the piper calls the tune. I get that. But don't be trying to sell us a whole bunch of horse shit. There are times when you don't have to talk on every single point. Just
Right.
keep it short, you know what I mean? Because they just fill the air like they're trying to offer analysis with the tennis match this afternoon. It was just like, there was no analysis. Djokovic fucked up in the tiebreak. He gave Federer 3 double fault, okay? Federer,
Right?
I mean, Federer didn't pull out any awesome shit out of anyway. But because
No.
Federer had points to go ahead, he kept fucking it up, okay? Gave him 3 free points with 3 double faults, 2 in a row, as a matter of fact, to give
Oh
him,
God.
and he just barely, just by a that Djokovic didn't make that amazing return, which we know Djokovic can do. So I mean,
Right.
like, there is nothing to say about that other than that. Federer didn't play amazing. Djokovic just sucked for 2 minutes, and then we get into
Exactly.
the third set. And let's be real, we saw the finals last year. Federer does have a problem with stamina. Okay, he's getting old. He's 33. He's gonna be 34.
Hey now.
You know what I mean? Like, let's be fair and let's don't be like amazed, because what Federer was pulling out there in the third set was definitely Fognini. I don't know. The fact Federer had all of a sudden like he was possessed by Fognini. It was just fucking reckless errors. And there's nothing else to say about it than just that. Federer was playing shit and be done with it.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
offer kind of tennis cute nonsense. Just
I
be
was
real.
happy that it was over.
Exactly, and that's the
It
thing.
was exhausting.
That was the beauty I love about Federer. Federer and any of the top guys matches. They don't pull any bullshit. They can't do any fake injury. None of that shit because they respect Federer. And Federer would call those motherfuckers out in a minute.
Right?
Djokovic, when he was playing badly and had a slump, he didn't try to roll over and be like, oh, my back, my neck, my knee, my eye, I can't breathe, I choke, I'm dying. Couldn't say anything other than and
yell at the crowd.
Exactly. Then he started picking on blaming the crowd. Bullshit. I mean, like, the crowd would have done the same thing to anybody else. I mean, granted, they were much more vocal for Federer, but I think
they always are.
But Federer has been around for. This is what they don't seem to. Federer has been around for a very long time. Okay, Federer has been playing top draw tennis since around 2002, and even though this is about like 13 years or 14 years later, 15 years later, whatever you want to say. No, what's wrong with me? I can't even count. Like 13
it's
years.
Okay.
13 years later, not only is Federer still playing top draw tennis, he's still competing. He's still there. He's not languishing in the number 10 position. He's not 15. You know what I mean? It's not a surprise to see him in the final. We know he can get to finals, so the crowd is very excited because the man that they have been cheering forever is still around.
Right.
Which has to just deal with that, and so does Nadal and everybody else.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
Suck it up. I mean, with Andy Roddick and Sampras came around, Andy Roddick was beating Sampras. So, Sampras looked old and he was losing, and Andy Roddick was rising while Sampras was dropping. But the fact that Roger Federer is number 2 in the world, and a solid number 2. Okay?
Very.
He plays amazing this year. He can actually contend for number 1 if he wins a major, especially one of those lost early in. So, it's one of those things that, I guess I just don't look at it. But anyway. So we kind of went off on a tangent. I don't know if anyone got
I know. Let's go off on another tangent real quick because you mentioned Fonini. Did you see Flavia in the stands of his doubles final or whatever? I don't know, semi. I don't know. I didn't see it because it wasn't on TV. I just saw screenshots, whatever, but she's wearing a big fucking rock on her left hand. Did you see that?
I think Flavia, girl, let me just say this to you. And, there's a little constructive criticism, okay? I'm not your good girlfriend. I'm just a friend. Actually, I'm an acquaintance. Girl, you don't even know me. Let's be real here. In case this ever get back to you, dumb Fabio. I don't know. I'm just going to say perhaps Fabio has a big penis. Girls, sometimes those things matter. Maybe he's very sexy and he can work it on. But Fabio looked like a hot mess. Okay, he's cute. He's a little short side. But he looks like a hot mess. If this is the kind of hot mess thing you think you could go for, all right, a girl. But I think you would have a better long life, less drama in your life if you date someone like Simone Bolelli. No, it's gonna be drama with your ex-boyfriend's best friend. But you know what? I think that drama is way easier to deal with than dealing with Fabio every single day, knowing that that's gonna be with your husband. To me, that's the thing. It mightn't make any sense right about now, but girl, I'm telling you.
Well, she seems to be quite a hot mess too, because what the hell was all that crying on court she's doing? What is wrong with her? She said, I was emotional. So the fuck what?
You see, I'm telling you, these WTA wenches just can't deal with things.
I think it's an Italian thing. Italian people are emotional, and that is coming from what my Italian friends tell me. They're just emotional.
But you know
they're
what?
All crazy.
I'm not gonna say something like that because next thing they're gonna say something like oh, I have a black friend who said this. I have a friend
I don't give a fuck. They're emotional.
I'm just gonna say Flavia just seemed to be. I just imagine in my mind. I don't know if it's emotional, but I remember last year at the U.S. Open when Flavia got into the final, the quarterfinals, I think it was, against Serena, or the round of 16, and she was playing with Martina Hingis, and I guess Martina gave her a little advice and be like, "Girl, you wanna beat Serena? This is what you do." And Flavia came out really like a matador, she was charging through. She didn't give a shit about Serena, and she broke Serena twice. and was up 3-love. Then Serena snatched that wig. Exposed it. I mean, like, she was showing tracks. Serena was showing tracks, scalp. Grabbed that wig and just dragged it threadbare. And Flavia came into the press conference and she was mad as hell. I mean, you couldn't even talk to Flavia. Flavia was just like, you're just like, so Flavia, what happened? Didn't you see what happened? Weren't you watching the match? I mean, granted, you know, she just got fired from her job and then they're trying to ask her, girl, how you feel? I mean, I know it's a bad, you know, it's not one of those things you want to really deal with. But, you know, she was mad. And I imagine that, you know, with that in mind, you know, and I witnessed this firsthand. With that in mind, you know, I imagine that, you know, like everyone was, I mean, I saw a couple of tweets, you know, Twitter, you know, the root of all evil. I mean, some people said on Twitter, you know, someone said, and I don't want to name it is, but the person said, you know, sometimes I think about it, and something along the line, the person said that, you know, then I have to sit and think that, you know, Flavia won Indian Wells last year. And I have to really think about that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, everyone was in shock that Flavia got to the finals of Indian Wells last year. And she beat no less Aga. She just ripped Aga to pieces.
I hate Aga. I am so glad Andreen's not here to yell at me about Rodwinska because I can't fucking stand her.
But everyone thought that Aga was injured last year, but we saw for the rest of the year, Aga has not been playing well not been playing well for a long time now. She's been a mess. Only thing she won last year was probably Montreal.
Well, I put her in the same category as like what's her face, the golden retriever girl, Wozniacki. You know, they're really good until they play a big, powerful power hitter. They can't handle it. And until you start beating them big girls, you're shit. I don't care if you beat everybody else. I don't care.
That is true. But I think their problem is that they just don't know what to do because the power hitters, as people like to call them, doesn't give them a lot of balls. A lot of the girls along the way, there are a lot of pushers on tour, which are gonna push back the ball, so they have time to set up to do, you know, the sneak attack and, you know, their little slice drop, whatever the case may be. But the top girls are gonna be like, you know, I ain't got time for this shit. Fuck this shit. Winner.
Right.
Winner.
And it works. So why don't they understand that works?
But they don't, and they don't have a serve, so they can't really help themselves. So they're relying on a return game to really save them. Because their serve, I mean, their second serve is lunch. And it is like, it's a free handout at Costco half the time. So they just don't get their life together. But I think it's, but they've been able to do well because, I mean, a lot of times, a lot of the player hitters don't, I mean, look at Petra. Petra hasn't been here. She's not going to be in Miami. She, you know, those girls give them the opportunity. Petra doesn't play like she's a top 5 player half the time. So when someone like Petra in the semifinals or quarterfinals, you get a win, you start feeling yourself, you know, fuck it, you know. Serena didn't show up at this tournament. Why not give this a go? And then, you know, these power hitters, every once in a while, most of them do not have a good serve anyway. Look at Lusicki. That shit should be throwing out 140 miles an hour for a serve, and then throw 69 miles an hour second serve. I mean, what the fuck is that? You might as well try to go for the double fall, and that is ridiculous. How could you say?
Lusicki bothers me anyways. She's so fucking emotional, and I think she has, like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 extra teeth. Something just isn't right.
Now, look. I mean, you see, no. Realz has to draw the line here. You can't put water all over my computer, and Janina, you gotta leave Lusicki's mouth. We don't get that far. You talk about her busy, but you just can't be in her mouth unless it's Nishikori, okay?
Oh my God! You want to talk about fucked up teeth? He's got all that money. Why doesn't he get that shit fixed? He can do the Invisalign. We don't even have to know that it's happening.
Actually, I made this point on Twitter, and someone pointed out something that I just never thought of. In order to fix something that's significant work has to be done. Let's put that in inverted commas. It requires time off. And Nishikori, I mean, they finished tennis in November, like late October.
Yeah, I know.
and then he has to get ready for, So he's thinking, do I fix my teeth or do I try to win a major? Do I fix my teeth and I don't smile, whatever. And since he's just playing for Japanese fans and they're giving him all this money, Nishikori is wearing soup as a sponsor. That's some fucking bullshit. You see, look, Nishikori, I'm all for you making $1, okay? I'm a broke bitch. I'm not gonna be mad at you trying to make some money. But you can't be wearing fucking soup as a sponsor. Girl, that shit ain't cute. But what the hell is that? You know what? But I ain't trying to come for your money. Okay, if you're making money, your money is right. I can't be mad. Okay, girl? No, you can't wear soup. You cannot wear soup. And, I can understand wearing maxi pad. Women wear maxi pad. You don't need that much money. I'm sure. What's the other company? Oh my God, we are. You know what? This podcast is officially. This is not even number 4. This is just question mark because this is a hot mess. Still, I'm just saying, Nishikori. Okay, you just can't. What's that saying? Uniqlo giving you tons of money. I don't know what shoes you're wearing, plus whatever Japanese, but you're wearing fucking soup. You're wearing Nissan soup, and you got your box wearing Nissan soup shit. No, that ain't cute.
Well, they could be wearing, what did Halup's box have on today? Jalapeno shirts?
That's their own little nickname for Halup, okay? That's okay.
I know, but it's so cheesy.
I know it's cheesy. I like to call her Miss Kool-Aid. Her head look like Miss Kool-Aid, a Kool-Aid jug. But you know what? If we want to talk about food, let's talk about the fact that Halup's head look like a Kool-Aid jug. You know what? They're not gonna try to do that, But let's try to get off these tangents that we're on, and let's get into the match. Did you see the match? Halup versus Yelena.
Yes. Do you want to know what the best part was?
That Yelena lost? Is that it?
No. The best part was the end when it was all over because that was a hot mess too. And then the best part was when Yelena's like.
But I'm just gonna. That was the thing.
Yelena says, and the ultimate, was her speech. Yelena's speech. It was great. She's talking about the physios doing her hair, and she's chasing balls like dogs, and she just couldn't keep up, and Halup is younger, and it was great. That really was the best part of that whole match.
I'm gonna say this, Yelena. Realz doesn't really like you. Let's just be 100 about that, okay? I think you have a 5 head. I think generally your attitude is nasty, though I do like when you come for Anna Ivanovic. When you go grab her wig, girl, I'm with you 100%. Because you know what? She's lazy. I agree with you. She's lazy and she doesn't pull her weight and Fed Cup. But let's talk about this speech that you gave today. It was a hot mess and you're rude and you're wrong. That was classless. School in August, no class. Bitch, you can't be the runner-up. And then the first thing you talk about when you get in front of the microphone is about making excuses. Bitch, that is some tired shit, okay? No, you get it too. No. The first thing you say when you lose is that, congratulations. Bitch, I don't care if you're hurting. I don't care if you're mad. Because you know what? The only reason you lost was your fault, okay? You know what? Halup won those last 2 sets by breaking you, okay? You had your hand. You had your own destiny in your hand. Halup didn't outplay you. You outplayed yourself. You got cute. You got fucking mess on the court. Halup couldn't even look. Halup was allergic to game point. Halup couldn't hold through if it fit to her hand. Okay? And you were breaking her will. But instead of you consolidate that shit, no. You decide to go play a fucking mess and give her back.
So bad.
And Halup broke you at love to win that match. At love.
That was so fucking bad.
You see?
I was so happy to see that was over. But you know what? I loved the speech because I'll tell you why. I can understand why you would say, you know what, that was just rude. But here's the thing. How many times do you think players go out there and they just want to be like, you know what, fuck this shit. I was tired. I'm getting old, and I just got tired. But they don't say it.
Say that. You know what? Look,
but no one will ever say it, and she said it, and I love it. I love it. I love it that she just lost in a final, and she's thanking someone for braiding her hair. I love it.
Okay,
I hated her hair. I hated it.
The fact that she has a 5 head. Girl, if you put your hands to your forehead and it covers more than 4 fingers.
Oh my God.
Forehead. Look, Yelena, you need to get some bang. And I've been telling you this. Get a bang, a fringe, put some weave or some shit. You do not put your hair back in one, girl. You have a forehead.
Oh, poor JJ.
That is, look, I've never liked her because I don't particularly like her attitude. And this is precisely why we just watched Live in Living Colors. Why Yelena is a slamless #1. Because bitch doesn't have any heart. Forgive me, you know what? I don't like calling these girls bitches unless they do something. She doesn't have any heart, okay? This is why she would never win a major. Because she's a mess. They call it bitches online on the court. Yelena, you're 30 years old. You have been to a major finals before. And you're going to let Jalapeno Kool-Aid Jughead roll up in a final, play half shitty tennis. Jalap played shitty tennis from beginning to end. Won that match. Look, Jalap showed us how to really win when not even trying. That's
true.
What that final was all about. Jalap won that thing. Jalap is like, you know what? When Maria and Serena is not here, I'm going to be taking the crown. And I agree. She is playing like she's the #3 player in the world. Okay, even when you're not playing that great, you can still beat these girls out here. And Yelena should have grabbed that title. That was there in her hands. She served for the match. I mean, she was probably
worried. She was probably worried that her makeup wasn't quite right. You know, I mean, she's very conscious about it all.
And what was even crazier, she was calling the coach. And you know, instead of, this is what she's telling the coach. I don't understand why I'm not holding. I need to serve. I understand. You don't put the ball in court. That's what you're not doing. No,
right?
This is, and week in, week out, I see these girls call. Madison Keys had that same issue this week. She called out Lindsay, and then Lindsay's come trying to say some shit like, "Oh, I didn't know she signed up for coaching." Girl, you're the coach. What do you mean you didn't know? If you didn't know, you should have stayed in the stand.
Right.
You'd be like, I don't understand why they're calling me. I don't need to. Nobody needs me. I know my babies are. Nobody should be paging my ass to go anywhere but sit where. But you showed up on court, and Madison Keys got her ass dragged by calling the coach. Every single one of these girls who were calling the coach. Look at Jalap. Jalap called the coach, and it still didn't even help her.
Yeah. Well, it really does.
She's very resistant to calling the coach. As a matter of fact, that's why I think, well, on my coverage, they didn't even show any of her speech because I think she just called the guy on court just to be like, you know what, you're here. You know, let me just sort of like walk out some kind of nervous energy. But I really resent the fact that players are bringing coaches on expecting them to tell them something. Figure the shit out. Tennis isn't, this isn't a brand new sport, okay? This isn't brand spanking new. You should
I hate it.
What the hell to do our hair.
A long time ago, Serena said, if my opponent calls their coach out during a match that she's playing, she said, I know I already won.
Exactly, and that is something I agree with 100%. I really think it just send a signal to your opponent, even when they win. Like Madison Keys won for a set, call Lindsay out. Girl, why?
What the fuck you calling her out for when you won? Obviously, you're doing all right.
Exactly. More of the same. And the same thing with Yelena. Yelena just broke and was up, trying to consolidate, was up in the set. She called out the coach. And then, you know, while we're talking about Yelena here, let's just talk about the Serbian shenanigans. I don't like to refer to this thing as ethnicity, but I'm just going to say for the top 3 Serbian players that we've seen in the past generation, Novak Djokovic, Ana Ivanovic, a.k.a. Ivanovic the Terrible, and JJ and Djokovic, Joker Harlequin. I just gotta say, they're always up to some shady shenanigans on court. They're always up to some nonsense. And Ana Ivanovic the Terrible, I gotta call you. That shit you pulled against Maria last year in Cincinnati, Cincinnati when you walked off the court and said bullshit. Girl, that was the most disgusting sportsmanship, lack of sportsmanship I've ever seen in my life. And
was that the check her pressure?
Check her pressure bullshit.
Yeah, yeah.
Maria was right. And the thing that bothered me that Maria didn't call her out even more, because that was some shady shit.
Right.
That was very shady. This ain't cute, people at this top level. Don't be doing this kind of shenanigans. Yelena always groaning and moaning and shouting and carrying on and talking to people and always making some complaint over the. It's too much. People just play, and you see. This is why you're number 18 in the world, Yelena. This is why you're number. Get your shit together. You're a 30-year-old woman, not a girl anymore. You're a woman.
Well, did you catch what she said? I think she's on her way out.
Well, you know what? Bye, girl. Bye. Just go.
Did you?
I don't want to see.
Oh God! All right then. Moving on.
So I'm telling you, this is a hot mess podcast. I don't even think it. But you know what? What I wanted to, let's get on to the men's game, because there ain't much to the women. Lisicki just played a hot mess. The men's game, who played the semifinal? Oh, Murray lost to Djokovic again. Let me just say, I think Loch Ness Monster has a Djokovic problem. As a matter of fact, he has everybody problem. Everybody, you know, the top three, he meets the top three players, they're kicking his ass. But clearly, I think the one that I think he has a legitimate chance of beating is Djokovic. And he still doesn't play well against Djokovic. He just play a mess. But, you know, I don't know. He's going to probably get into... And the thing about, I don't think it's Amelie's fault. I just think it's his fault. I think he has the right game plan, but he just doesn't execute at all. Like, Djokovic just fucks him up. It's like Djokovic put some kind of voodoo in his head, but like,
well,
we're not going to win today, boo.
The Serbian Devil played amazing tennis all week. All week he played amazing tennis.
This is why I'm not going to get a sponsor. You know why? Because you can't... You know the Djokovic fans, the Djokovic stands are out there claiming to be, you know, shading on their player, and you're gonna call him the Serbian devil?
Well,
you know what?
I got blocked by one. Someone had been missing from my timeline on Twitter, and I'm like, he probably finally got sick of me calling his buddy the Serbian devil. Sure as shit, I got blocked.
Call him Joker Harlequin. Because he's always up to, if you ever seen Batman, he's always up to some shady shenanigan, you know? He's not quite the Joker. He's more like Harlequin.
Well, I really like the Serbian devil, but okay.
I enjoy his tennis, though. I just don't enjoy his shenanigan. I do enjoy his tennis. I think he's an amazing athlete. He works really hard. There might be some shady shit behind of it, but you know what? Especially in 2011, let's keep it real, you know. And his bullshit, you know. What's this bullshit talking about? What was it? It's a vegan. What's the other thing you talk about?
Oh, the gluten-free stuff.
The gluten-free bullshit, and his little snake oil doctor who was telling him some like medical advice and nonsense. But I mean, he's an amazing athlete. His style of tennis is very impressive. It's very very impressive. I mean, he athletic. I mean, like his court coverage, his mentality out there. You know, he just gets the shit together, and I really do admire. You know, and I do like the fact that Federer could deal with. Yeah,
he's great.
Federer could deal with his.
Exactly. I thought that if anybody was going to beat him this week, I thought it would be Federer, because Federer just has this way of stopping Novak when Novak's on cloud like 20. It's not even 9. It's like way above that.
Because Federer plays very quick points, and Nole likes riding things out. But I think this time around in the final, Nole sort of like did what Federer does to people. Nole was the one dictating play. He was the one playing really quick points. So Federer was always on the back foot and then made to push constantly. And Federer couldn't break self shit for nearly the whole match.
Well, he never can. I mean, come on, let's keep it real. He is so bad on breakpoint conversions.
Like I said today, I put on Twitter, I said, I don't have any doubt Federer will create breakpoint opportunities for himself. The problem is that,
getting it
to convert is what keeps me up at night. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just that he gets, I don't know, but sometimes the player does do serve great. You know what I mean?
You know
so
what?
He can't really do much. But I don't know, he just kind of like gets, it's almost like he gets the break points and imagine that him being Roger Federer, that is scaring the other player and that they would make an error.
Maybe.
You know what
I don't
mean?
know.
Like,
I don't
back
know.
like when Roger Federer has a break point earlier when he was like winning 3 majors and win every Sunday, players would literally break themselves. You know what I mean?
They would, yeah.
No,
He doesn't have the intimidation factor that he used to have. People
exactly.
now know that he's beatable, even though he's not that beatable, but he loses more than he ever did before, so the intimidation is gone.
But
So I totally agree with that.
But on the other thing about Federer too that I kind of enjoy that makes him special, Federer doesn't give up on a game quite easily. He constantly, I mean, the top players are pretty much like that. They would pickpocket a game out of you. You would be up 40-love and thinking, shit, I'm coasting, I'm cute. And next thing, break point down. But Federer constantly plays to that times when, a player would be up and he thinks, I think because he's comfortable in the fact that, that I will create, there will be another break point.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's the thing that bothers me, that he should be constantly thinking, these breakpoint opportunities are very rare. I should try to take them when I can right now, make my life easier. But I think he enjoys the challenge, and then he fucks up himself. Sometimes hubris. He gets a little too cocky and full of himself. And mind you, when the last time he met Djokovic in Dubai, Djokovic couldn't break him for shit.
Right.
Around, Djokovic was breaking Federer at will, basically.
And Federer had a really good serving week, which was what I thought might help him today. But today, he just fucking sucked. And you know what? I think I don't know, the last 2 matches, I felt like Federer just looked kind of bored.
Well, maybe we underestimate the effort that it's taken out of him to beat these big guys. I mean,
maybe.
Because he knows.
He didn't have to play that hard against fucking Berdych. Come on, he bageled him.
But let's be 100 here. Against Berdych, he knows what Berdych can do to him. And
absolutely.
He knows what Raonic can be very. If Raonic serve is on point, not that second serve we're talking about, people. Just that first serve. If that first serve is in play, and Raonic can call upon that like you call upon a breath of fresh air. Top players they have a very difficult time beating Raonic. And he just came off beating Federer, Nadal, so maybe he was feeling himself, so he was very confident. But those kind of matches require a lot out of Federer, and maybe he came into the final just not being as sharp as he wanted to. You know what I mean?
Maybe. And he's got all them damn kids at home.
Look, the girls are like pretty much big. They can understand now. They're like 4, I think, 5, 4. So they can hear when to stop, and behave, and I see America is still out and about, so they got nannies. They ain't gotta worry about kids.
Oh, they worry about kids. You watch. They got some babies. They all live together, even if somebody else is doing all the other shit.
I'm sure
you heard Djokovic talking about getting up early this morning and changing diapers?
Shut the fuck up, Djokovic. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I could totally see Djokovic comes off like being one of those like I'm a man, and it's rather I hate that kind of Neanderthal thing, but that's just my impression from the outside,
Right.
But it was a good tournament all around. I thought the men, as always, it was quality tennis between Federer and Djokovic. It's always amazing tennis. They always play quality points, quick. No meandering, no shenanigans, no drama, no Oscars, no Tony Awards given away, just tennis. And I do love that about their rivalry. I guess we got our segue all over the place. We didn't get on. But I guess the other big news of the day. Oh, I guess we don't want to talk about Serena no more. The big news of the week was Wayne Odesnik got banned from tennis for 35 years.
I thought it was 15 years. Whichever. I mean, I wanted to say, like, why ban him for 15 or 35 or whatever? Like he's really going to live that out and come back. Why not just ban him for life?
Well, I think they want to act as if, they're being. I see if I have this statement here, if I can read it for you folks. Oh God, we can talk about that. Oh well, he got banned, and they said, that he issued a statement afterwards. He says, "I am announcing my retirement from professional tennis on the ATP Tour World Tour effective immediately. For the past decade, I was extremely blessed to travel the world playing professional tennis, the sport I had grown up playing, and is part of me. I would like to thank all of my fans, family, and friends for this continued and unconditional support from my junior years throughout my professional career. The real meat of the substance is this. In December 2014, I unknowingly ingested a contaminated over-the-counter supplement. Upon learning of my positive test result, I was immediately heartbroken, as words could not describe my shock and disappointment. Being the most tested American tennis player on tour, I would have never knowingly have taken any chance of consuming a banned substance. The contaminated product is currently with an independent accredited testing laboratory in California for further testing at my own expense, and I'm currently considering my legal options. To my now former colleagues, I wish you all good health and fortune in both your professional lives and throughout the remainder of your careers. Traveling the world and playing tennis is something I would always cherish and will never forget. But I am now ready and excited to move on to the next phase of my life. Wayne Odesnik. Now, I have a completely different. As always, this is Realz, and I have a controversial and complete thing about this whole thing. I'd like to say ITF, whoever it is, y'all are full of shit. Y'all are full of so much. This is gonna be my rant for the week. Hopefully, we can wrap up sometime. But this is probably gonna take me whatever. This is if any real person out there who are not fans ever hear this, I would really like to talk to Wayne Odesnik. As a matter of fact, I would like to talk to anybody in the ATP, WTA, ITF, because this is some fucking bullshit. Let us just recount Wayne Odesnik drama. First and foremost, Wayne Odesnik was allegedly, well, not allegedly, he was stopped at an airport, I believe, several years ago in Australia with a whole bunch of banned substances. He didn't fail a test. He found a whole bunch of banned substances, banned steroids, basically. Now, all that steroid wasn't for him. But he was banned for like 2 years, basically. No one ever asked where he got it from. No one ever asked where he was going with it. They just stopped him at the airport, and, they said, they banned him for 2 years. Now, technically, he didn't fail a drug test, so he shouldn't have been banned. He should have been arrested and served jail time for carrying drugs. But that wasn't the issue. he wasn't seen as a drug mule he is. And everybody got upset, and all of a sudden he came back and he was shunned. No, he supposedly failed a drug test. No, Wayne Odesnik, there are some stupid people out there. There are some stupid people out there. But Wayne, I don't think you were one of those stupid people. I don't see how you were struggling in the scrub. As a matter of fact, boo, you're not even an ATP scrub. You were playing, you're not even a challenger queen. You were playing satellite and circuit city tennis tournaments, okay? Trying to get your shit together. Why the fuck are you taking drugs? The only people who really take drugs and who take banned substances and a big deal are those at the very top. So if tennis world is trying to tell me they ban Wayne Odesnik and everyone, Andy Murray, Andy Roddick, saying some shit like, good riddance, bon débarrasse, get him out of here, he's fucked out or whatever. Wayne Odesnik is not tennis problem. It's not tennis drug problem. Because Wayne Odesnik was not trained up at the French Open, was not trained up at Wimbledon. Wayne Odesnik is in no way was showing up any place where we really cared and looking at tennis. Wayne Odesnik is playing in somebody's backyard, okay? And ain't nobody got time for nobody checking for Wayne Odesnik. So you trying to tell me that Wayne Odesnik is drug problem and you basically pull out a hammer to kill an ant. This is what the situation was. Because if we really and truly have a drug problem, why is it that Wayne Odesnik, who's playing in somebody's backyard circuit city tennis tournament, why is he being tested so much? And he never failed a drug test. He never failed a drug test.
Right.
And meanwhile, none of these other top players can remember the last time they got tested. Why are we not dealing with that? And tennis, let us just talk about something, because the problem with sports and drug has never been the athletes. It has always been the organization's ability and willingness to deal with the problem. Let us just talk about a little bit of track and field. In 1988, Ben Johnson won the 100 meter, and he got the next day they said, "Oh, Ben Johnson cheated and he was on steroid." But do many people know that Carl Lewis failed a drug test, and that the USA Olympic Committee sent Carl Lewis a letter saying he was banned from the Olympic team? But all of a sudden there was too much money invested in Carl Lewis. It was all a big deal because Carl Lewis was, supposed to fall the Canadian sensation. And meanwhile, there is even rumor that Carl Lewis even set up Ben Johnson. But we're not even going to even deal with that part of the issue. We know for a fact that Carl Lewis failed drug tests more than one and still continued to play and still continued to run. We don't want to talk about that, do we? And then let's talk about tennis specifically. Not even talk about last year. Let's talk about recently. Andre Agassi was found while playing, tested positive for drugs. They let him continue playing. Martina Hingis tested positive for cocaine. She just walked away. She didn't allow them to test her again. And all of a sudden she showed up on tour again, and no one said a word. Martina Hingis is now winning majors and winning major tournaments. And everyone pretend like Martina Hingis didn't leave the sport several years ago for cocaine. Federer won in 1998, yes, Australian Open finals against Marcelo Rios. Chile is now leading an investigation asking the ITF to look into the fact that Peter Kodra failed a drug test at Wimbledon, but they never made it known until 1999 when he had already retired from tennis. So don't tell me some bullshit that you're kicking Wayne Odesnik out of tennis and that he's the problem. What I really want to know is all the other top players who failed drug tests, and you have refused, as you have shown your unwillingness in the past, to do anything about it. That's what I really want you to deal with tennis. Don't sell me some fucking bullshit and tell me, oh, Wayne Odesnik is out of tennis. Oh my God, good riddance. We're looking tough on drugs. Because nobody was checking for Wayne Odesnik. Wayne Odesnik wasn't trying to win any major title. Wayne Odesnik wasn't bothering anybody. Who is anybody in tennis right about now? So you're gonna sad horn for that, people. And y'all are full of shit. I ain't got time for this nonsense. I mean, rant is over. I mean, like, this
it's
really
true. And nobody wants to talk about it. Federer wouldn't talk about it. Federer said, that he wasn't going to badmouth Wayne, but he was, he doesn't want to see drugs in the sport. Andy, from what I understand, I don't know exactly what Murray is always like really interested in it, which is either really good or really bad. I don't know, so I'm not going to talk about it. But nobody wants to talk about it. None of the top players wanted to. They're like, I don't want to touch that. Why the fuck not?
And this is the thing this will get me upset. Is that they're all on this bandwagon. Andy Roddick comes say some shit like, oh, the only thing disappointing was that he has an American flag against his name. Motherfucker, cheating ain't no country. Okay? If the person cheating, then they're not cheat. It's because of their country why they're cheating. To me, Wayne Odesnik was set up. A lot of people seem to have had a lot of, very strong opinion about his continued presence on tour. I don't know why. Because Wayne Odesnik wasn't bothering me. I've never seen Wayne Odesnik line up in any tournament that we really care about. He wasn't at the first round of Wimbledon. He wasn't at the first round of US Open. He just wasn't anywhere. So I don't understand why people seem to think, oh, when he got out, everyone's just like, oh, happy. I'm so happy he's out of here. But, when the players, I was really upset with the players' reaction, and I was happy that, Mr. Federer is always your classy. Always classy. You're right. Don't say shit. Because you know what? If you really say what you really want to say, there's going to be problems. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the fact that, Victor Troitsky and Marin Cilic still play tennis. How about we deal with the real situation as to what happened in that? They don't want to talk about that situation.
Well, and do we know exactly what Wayne tested positive for? He said an over-the-counter medication, whatever. Because back in,
I think it's a supplement he took. Like I guess one of those like protein shake, whatever the things, whatever.
Okay. Well, I mean, because the first incidence was HCH. That's a big fucking deal.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. That's my point. Wayne Odesnik doesn't have a chemistry degree. Okay, I don't even think Wayne Odesnik know what the periodic table looks like. So if he's walking around with with all this hormone growth hormone, we can be sure that this motherfucker didn't make it in his lab, didn't make it on court, he didn't make it in his house. Someone give it to him. The real question should have been, Wayne,
where was it going?
Wayne, where were you going? Wayne, is this the first time you have done this? Wayne, is this the second time you're going? How was this being distributed? How is this going? Because clearly, they're giving it a person who travels a lot. People are going to see all the time and not be like, oh, I see him every week traveling about. He was going to Australia with this. Who was in Australia at the time? Was Australia his final destination? Where was he headed? You see? But nobody talked about this. Everybody was happy to say Wayne had human growth hormones on his system, in his bag, and he's a drug mule, whatever. Look, if we're gonna we know Cookie wasn't making drugs in Empire. Carrying the drugs. Okay? Let's be real. You see? Is he talking about? And that's what this is like. This whole story just drove me insane. Because let us talk about the real drug problem. But you know what? They're not going to, because there's too much money.
There's way too much money. On a whole, tennis is too small as a sport that if one of their top players got busted, if a Federer, Nadal, Djokovic got busted, that's it. The credibility is gone. We will never know. And I'm not saying that I think any of them are doing anything, but if they are and they get busted, we will never, ever, ever know, because it would cost too much money, way too much. The tennis cannot afford for Federer or Rafa or Nole to be away from the game for years. Who's gonna?
But I tell you what's gonna happen, right? These players are allowed to get, let's say one of these players are on drugs. And again, for y'all you haters and troll all day, let me be absolutely clear. I am not implying that anyone done drugs, any specific person. I just think if tennis has this drug problem, which they themselves have admitted to, that they have a drug problem, that the drug problem isn't in the Circuit City Challenger arena. It is definitely in the top echelon of the sport, just like cycling.
Absolutely.
But here is what's going to be the problem. It's going to get to the point, if they don't deal with these drug problem and drug situation and small, it's going to get to a problem where the story is going to be too big for them to contain.
Yeah.
Like a la Lance Armstrong.
Someone will talk one day. Somebody someday will get sick of it and always be in the person on the cusp that just can't win. And they're going to be like, fuck this. I'm telling all the dirty secrets. And if you listen to the track and field players that get busted, every single one of them says, you know what, if I don't use whatever, then I can't compete. They're not trying to do it to get ahead. They're doing it to keep up because everybody's doing it.
Well, let's just look. I mean, again, we're definitely gone over an hour, but I think this is a rather interesting bit. But I just want to say that I have followed track and field for a very long time, and I love track and field. What I start to love about it, those bodies, people. It's
amazing.
Give it a
hey.
And I have to say that and I've definitely been the doping has always been swimming and doping and track and field. It's been something I've always been. I read up a lot about etc. all the time, and in tennis, it's going to be all about stamina. And the funny thing about tennis too is that the people who are committing these drug offenses, it's not even just like steroids they're on. They're on fucking coke and crystal and all this crazy shit. Okay,
Yep.
but and we can definitely see that with tennis because you're playing week in, week out, traveling all over the place. Some of you, so there is definitely a party scene with liquor and alcohol, and liquor, alcohol is the same thing. I mean, drugs. That could very much be a part of it. People probably popping some ecstasy and some shit because, look, you gotta explain something. Hot mess shit.
If you know where to hang out at a tournament, you can watch it happen.
And well, these players don't hang out. So, but my point is just that in tennis, I don't, especially in this era, I wouldn't. If people say, Nadal, Federer, Djokovic, and Murray are not cheating, for 100% they're not cheating. We have tested their blood. They don't cheat, whatever. I can get that, but what I would say that, the players who are below them, I wouldn't find it so far-fetched that they may have been doping. They are doping. Because, look, let us just look at the numbers. Federer, Nadal, Djokovic have been virtually every single major since 2005.
Right.
Okay? Murray snuck in for like 2. Wawrinka got 1. Del Potro got 1. Since 2004, and I think 2004 French Open, Gaston Gaudio won. And I think, what's his name? Murat Safin won Australian in 2005. That's just like 5 people. 5 people who are not named Federer, Djokovic, and Nadal have been winning all the
don't forget Cilic.
Oh, yes. Let's not forget you, Cilic. Okay, sorry. Anyway, they're not just only winning the majors where they are the most money, most prestige. They're winning all the fucking Masters. They have been winning all of the Masters for like a very long time. They're not only just winning them; it's being competed against each other. So they can't even slip in there to win something. I mean, Tsonga just got lucky recently. I think the only 3 players I remember winning is Wawrinka won Monte Carlo, Tsonga won Toronto, and I think Ferrer won Paris. But all the others have been won by these 3 players. And that's crazy. So the players where they can get the most money, these players are only making money. They can only try to win a title at one of these 250 events. Because book it show, Federer, Djokovic, Nadal, and Murray showing up for the title. They're showing up there as well. So it's very hard for them to get any real top money, top prestige. So, they're going to try to get ahead. And look, which I've always said, one of the funniest things about Lance Armstrong is just like everyone else was failing the drug test except Lance Armstrong.
Right.
And Lance Armstrong is not on drugs, but he's still beating the players on drugs. I don't know what the fuck is going on here. So if you have the players, if these lower ranked players are definitely on drugs and they still ain't winning at life, it means that there is this strong possibility that the top players may very well be on drugs. And let's not forget the fact that tennis is now a much more brutal, physical sport. We are seeing men sticking around longer, and we don't even know the long-term effect on their body, because the way in which we are living in an era where people are sliding on hard coats. They are sliding on hard coats, people. 10 years ago, you try to move funny in a hard coat, you fuck up your ankle and you fuck up your season. You might even fuck up your career. Now, people know how to slide on a hard coat and don't even know how to slide on clay. Put that out there, okay? And that is a fact. People can slide on a hard coat and can't slide on clay. So, this is the era of tennis that we live in, okay? This is how crazy. That's another quote, the quote, bullshit, whatever. But, so I would like to think that, that this sport has a problem. That if this is what they're admitting to, that they have a problem, but the problem isn't the drug. The problem is that how they're dealing with the problem. And to me, they're looking to ignore the major issues. Because to me, there should be mandatory testing all the time. They're showing up for Olympics. you know, all these kind of situation. We have seen and we know the rumors. You know, like I don't want to give voice to any of these rumors, but you know, some players look all juiced up, but we're gonna pretend that we don't even know what it is because you know we don't want to affect the sensibility. But the problem is that when this thing happened, look, Marion Jones never failed a drug test. She never failed a drug test.
Right.
But she admitted to cheating, and someone actually, as a matter of fact, a coach who got pissed off because she left him, sent them the samplers to the drugs that they were using. And he got banned for life because they were juicing up and they couldn't, you know. So never forget that, you know, the testing is only available for what they known substances. There's always invention for new. East Germany created a whole new factory revolution of how to do drugs. But then they got crazy and then fuck up all these girls' bodies. And then the Americans, I think, took over from some East German and they created those designer drugs, which is giving them longer, fitter, and all kind of crazy shit. And they can, you know, look, drugs is happening in every other sport. Tennis isn't immune to it. Let's just be real on that. The tennis establishment have said there is a drug problem. But I'm not seeing anything to fixing the problem. Kicking Wayne Odesnik out of the sport is not. He wasn't bothering anybody.
Right. Let him take his vitamins.
Exactly. Whether he
fucking cares.
He's not the problem. And then you know what got me really upset too? Beyond anything else with Wayne Odesnik. Neil Harmon, the fucking plagiarizer, got on Twitter and then said some shit like, oh, I called out Wayne Odesnik and I guess I was doing Wimbledon a favor. Motherfucker, you don't get it. You can't. It can't
when did he even come back?
Neil, it can't be you, boo. Boo, you need to have a seat. You need to shut your mouth. When anyone talking about cheating, you need to look away and humble yourself. You know,
right?
Have some shame. It can't be you. You were plagiarizing from your colleagues. You were stealing your colleagues' shit and selling it for profit.
He was stealing from bloggers.
I mean, and you weren't even giving them credit. The same people that you shame, you were stealing their shit, getting on TV trying to act like you're somebody, and you're gonna try to call Wayne Odesnik for cheating? Girl, no. Girl, no. If I see you, I will call you to your face and say, you're an asshole. This ain't cute, boo. It can't be you. No. Somebody else let someone else make that judgment call. But you, as a matter of fact, you're supposed to call Wayne Odesnik and say, boo, can we go for a drink? Commiserate as cheaters. That's what you're supposed to do.
Oh, shit.
You can even call him out and say, like, you know, hey, Wayne, as an ex-cheater, this is how you deal. This is how you get up. You know what I mean? You can't be trying to, you know, add salt to this man. No. And then you got your fucking foolhardy friends trying to pick up for you and try to start a fight on Twitter trying to say, you know, oh, you are a brilliant journalist. No. When you're right, you're a journalist. When you steal people's shit, you're a thief. And you're a plagiarizer. So, boo, leave Wayne alone. It can't. If I hear you say shit about Wayne one more time, or any other time, and you know what? I did tweet it, and I did respond to you, and I used your handle, so I sent it back to you. RealzTenisFanz just like that. When you say shit like that, you know, I try to be fair. It's one thing for someone else that Wayne is a cheater, but you as a cheater, no, can't be you. Next, moving on, girl. Bye, girl. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Anyway, I think we had too much fun. Anyway, fans, if you lasted this long, it was way longer than I expected. I'm going to call it a podcast anomaly. I don't think this was a real podcast. This was just a mess and a half. And again, we can't get Andreen. I don't know why. But next week, we're going to be much more civilized, and we're going to have a hot, sizzling podcast in Miami. We're going to be in Miami, with the Golden Girls. And we're going to be talking about, I don't know if I should be saying this out loud. No, that's not the right one. They're going to be talking about the hot men's on tour. It's called Miami Sizzle. So
shit.
we're gonna have two other girls. I don't know if Andreen is gonna be here. I swear to God, she's supposed to be here, and we're gonna have lots of fun. We're gonna objectify men. You know, we've objectified women for centuries. It's time that men get their fair share and really.
I am ready.
And we're ready to talk about the hot mans, and maybe we're gonna talk about the uglies too. But you know what? I don't know if we want to upset our stomach. You know what? God created all creatures and they're all lovely, but you know what? I'm just, God love everyone equally. I don't know if we can. You know what? Stop. You know, let me not get hubris. If I get an accident and my face get all fucked up, I can't deal with that. There are no ugly people in this world. They're just lesbians. Let's just say it, you know? They're just lesbians.
He had to stop.
Anyway, oh my God, I forget to even mention, you know, that every week we complain about Divadal complaining, and this week Divadal is complaining about the balls. Now, this is going to be the last bit of tea I'm going to give you. Now, quiet as it's kept, Divadal was sleeping in a hotel room with another man. It wasn't Cersei. Divadal was sharing a hotel room with Mark Lopez. Now, mind you, Mark Lopez don't make money like Divadal, but I'm sure Mark Lopez ain't that broke that he and Divadal need to be sharing the same room. Divadal took a pause and then said, "Oh, but different bed." But boo, if you really want to be complaining about balls, you don't want to be. We know what balls we're talking about, boo. Don't come with that shit.
Oh my
God. There is no reason why you, as a grown man, is sharing a hotel room with another man when you're a millionaire. No reason. No, look. Tell us about the reason. We're waiting. No reason. The only reason. No, you got money. You got some money. He can have his own room. You and Mark Lopez ain't buddy. And let me just leave it now. You're fucking up with one Monaco said, okay? You need to stop this. Either you and Pico together, Divadal.
Oh, poor Pico.
Together. Don't be fucking up Pico head and say y'all playing doubles in Argentina together. All of a sudden, you move stateside and Pico is not in the picture anymore. Boo. No, no, girl. No. Look, either you're with Pico or you're not with Pico. Because look, let me tell you why I don't like Divadal. I know people think I hate Divadal because he beats Federer. No, other people beat Federer. Sanga beats Federer, and I like Sanga. But let me tell you why I don't like Divadal. Divadal is dirty. Okay, she is a two-bit whole man stealer. Okay, Divadal, according to the fan fiction, let me just put it out there for security reasons, because I know Divadal stands will come after me. If you all made it this far into the podcast, I hope you would hear it, but you know, I'll probably repeat this little bit of tea later on. Divadal and Feliciano Lopez had a thing going on. Yes, they did. Nobody trying to say, I'm giving you the drama now. The drama. Anyway, they had a thing going on. It was back in 2005 when Divadal was maybe be somebody. You know, like everybody said, okay, he could play in clay, you know, but you know, I don't know if he's really going to go places. But then all of a sudden, Divadal started to go places, you know, like beating Federer at hard court events, etc., etc. Divadal stopped hanging out with Feliciano Lopez. And let me tell you how I know Feliciano Lopez and Divadal had a thing going on. They used to share a house together at Wimbledon. Okay, again, these are multi-millionaires. They don't need to be sharing houses, okay? They don't need. Okay? And you don't need to be publicized. And at one point, Mary Corello, and if she doesn't know G Unit, I don't know who else don't know G Unit, okay? Mary Corello sussed out the scene and implied that Divadal and Feliciano Lopez or Deliciano Lopez had a thing going on. No, to me, fans, I didn't care. Divadal and Feliciano Lopez was a cute couple. That time Divadal had hair. You know, he was cute. You know, no tea, no shade, you know, and I wasn't mad. They were a cute couple, you know. I'm just like, all right, you know. A lot of people were fighting for Diva. A lot of people were like obsessed about Feliciano Lopez, but you know what? I could say he was cute, but you know, he didn't do anything for me. Who was doing something for me was Pico, Baby Jesus, Juan Monaco. You know what? I saw Juan Monaco before Divadal saw him, and we were good buddies. He was my fantasy. He was keeping it real, keeping me alive. And all of a sudden, Divadal saw Pico and decided he want my fucking man. And I was just like, look, yeah, no. But you know what? What do I have to compete? Divadal got money. We may have this. I think I have a better booty than Divadal. But you know what? I don't get down that way, so maybe that's why Pico decided, to leave me and go for Divadal. But you know what? The long and short of it, Divadal stole my man. Divadal stole my man, Pico. And no, I don't want Pico is being dropped by the side every now and again. You see how Divadal be treating him on court? Six love, breadsticks, bagels, two pieces in a biscuit. Pico can't win a game for save his life against Divadal. But you know what? Divadal dropping him by the side. I don't want leftovers, okay? I don't deal with used toilet paper, okay? So Pico was mine. Divadal stole him. No, Pico is in all kind of mess, and As soon as Divadal show up, Pico comes running, and look what happened at Indian Wells. You think Divadal played doubles with Pico? No, he did not. He shared a room with Mark Lopez. I'm just saying, people. That's the real tea, people. That's why I like Divadal. Divadal is a man stealer. He would steal your man. He would steal your joy. You know what? So that's why I don't get down with Divadal. Plus, he's always picking his ass. Who the fuck is gonna touch his neck? Look. If I'm ever playing a match against Divadal, he cannot take my hand with his right hand. No way, motherfucker. You've been digging in your ass whole match long. I watched you. I saw you. I'm not even saying anything else. And you're gonna give me Ebola with your shitty hands? Get out.
Ebola?
Get out of here, okay? Divadal is spreading Ebola until with his shitty hands, okay?
Oh my God. I can't even believe this is happening.
Anyway. I'm sorry, I'm crazy, okay? But you know what? I think we've gone over like an hour and a half. This is fucking insane, but we're having so much fun. But you know what? I gotta finish the job because Janina needs to go take care of her baby. And I have a life too. We've had enough tennis. And you know what? I don't want to spoil it for you. I don't know. Maybe you can listen to Realz as you're at the gym. I hope you're enjoying it. But don't try to lift weights while you're listening. You might hurt it. I think it's the podcast to listen to while you're on the elliptical or on the bicycle. You're seated, and keep, spit water on somebody. Cause, it might work out to your favor. But, on a Sunday morning, it's this way to pollute your ears with some Realz Tennis podcast, You listen to on your way to work. It's enjoyable. I think so. I listen to myself every now and again. You know what, people? I mean, I would say it's shitty if it was shitty, and I really think this podcast is a really great podcast. I mean,
it's amazing.
I mean, it's funny. I mean, it might be a little too long, but you know what the fuck else you gotta do with yourself? You know what? Work, got a job. You do not. You could listen to me. What's a little hour and a half out of your day? After you be watching and please.
I think we might be approaching the 2-hour mark.
Empire is over, okay? So there's no Empire to watch. So you can watch. You can listen to Realz in the Empire. But anyway, folks, I will let you go. I think we're at an hour and a half, And this was a messy podcast, but it was a good messy podcast. Not like tennis. Not that women's final messy podcast. But it was good, folks. And, Indian Wells is over. Serena came and she left, which is good. And you know what? Federer didn't win, but he got back to the finals. He kept his points. Simona Halep won. I'm happy for that. And she beat JJ. I'm happy for that. And, I guess I should say Martina Hingis and Sanya Mirza won the women's doubles. Congratulations on that. I gotta say a hottie, classic popsicle. His name is Popsicle, but I like to call it Popsicle. Yes, because I would lick that. I would. But you know what? I'm a Christian man. Okay?
Shit.
But anyway, he and Jack Sock won the men's double. So let's give them congratulations for that. And before we go, let's have a word from our sponsor. What's so funny?
Oh my God.
Again, folks, no one is sponsoring us, okay? That's not sensitive. I should be making money from this podcast, okay? Like, I'm a broke man, okay? So, folks, tell your friends, your grandmother, who, if your grandmother want to advertise in spot and she want to sell cold cream, once it ain't drugs, alcohol, okay? I am good. Actually, as a matter of fact, if it ain't legal drugs, like I'll make exceptions. You need some airtime, you know, you need to get your product out there. As long as there's no pyramid schemes, I don't do pyramid schemes too much, okay? I got a spot for you on my podcast. But anyway, folks, I'd like to thank you again for listening to another Real Tennis podcast. It's long, but it's funny. Hope you enjoy yourself. Janina, thanks as always. You're amazing. And I will see you on the flip side.
Alrighty.
Any last words, Janina, you want to say before you go? Maybe.
Oh, hell no. I'm done.
All right, folks. Good night.